Hi, my name is Amiko. I know this is the first time you are hearing this voice. For your own comfort, I need you to find a quiet place, turn up the volume, and enjoy. I was sitting with a close friend recently, and right in the middle of a normal conversation, he said something that completely paralyzed me. He looked at me and said, "We are just living inside our own heads." It sounds so simple, doesn't it? But it's the most terrifying truth you will ever realize. This is the absolute hell of consciousness. Every time you give yourself a moment to ask those deep existential questions, you don't find answers. You just lose a piece of your life. You let the mind take absolute control. I swear to you, sometimes I get these incredible bursts of energy, brilliant ideas on how to change my life, how to move forward, how to finally build something meaningful. And just as I am about to take the very first step, my own mind whispers one single venomous question. Why are you even doing this? And that's it. I lose the argument immediately. Because no matter what logic I use, my mind will always find a way to convince me that it's all completely pointless. And then I look at history. I look at the tyrants, the dictators, the monsters who stood before their own executions and laughed. Men who watched the whole world turn against them, who stared death in the face and felt absolutely nothing. No fear, no hesitation. I used to wonder, where does that terrifying power come from? How can they be so unstoppable, while you and I are completely defeated by our own thoughts before we even leave the room? We call our hesitation weakness. We call it submission. But here's the cruel, miserable joke of human nature. Those men didn't possess doubt because they were completely disconnected from reality. Absolute certainty is the luxury of fools and madmen. Your hesitation, your endless questioning, your agonizing paralysis, it isn't weakness at all. It is simply the heavy, unbearable price of being truly awake. Welcome to the hell of consciousness. So, how do we escape this? How do we break the paralysis of our own hyper-awareness? To defeat the enemy, you must first understand its weapons, and your mind uses a very specific chemical weapon against you. Neuroscience calls it the intention-behavior gap. When you lie in bed at 3 a.m., planning your grand future, your brain releases dopamine. It releases the exact same reward chemical it would use if you actually did the hard work. Do you realize how twisted that is? Your brain is literally consuming the reward before the battle even begins. It tricks you into feeling productive while you are doing absolutely nothing. We see this everywhere. Look at the perfectionist. He spends 6 months designing a logo for a business that doesn't exist. He reads 20 books on how to swim, but absolutely refuses to touch the water. He confuses preparation with action. He uses research as a highly sophisticated form of cowardice. The great Danish philosopher, Søren Kierkegaard, diagnosed this terror over a century ago. He called it the dizziness of freedom. Kierkegaard said that when you look down into the massive abyss of your own potential, when you see all the choices you could make, you get dizzy. You panic. Because choosing one path means sacrificing all the others. And to stop that agonizing panic, you simply choose to do nothing. You choose the comfort of the cage to avoid the terror of the open sky. So, what is the cure? How do you defeat a mind that is too smart for its own good? You stop arguing with it. Motivation is a lie. It is a myth sold to weak people. You do not need to feel inspired. What you need is cold, mechanical execution. The next time you are about to start and your mind whispers that familiar, venomous question, why are we even doing this? What is the point? You do not engage. You do not negotiate with your own mind, because your mind is a master debater and it will always win. You treat your mind like a frightened passenger. You say, I don't know the point, but we are taking this step anyway. Action must precede feeling. You do not wait for the mood to strike. You force the body to move, and you drag the mind kicking and screaming behind it. Meaning is not found in the thinking. Meaning is violently extracted through the doing. Let me ask you another question. How many versions of you have already died? I don't mean physical death. I mean the phantoms, the parallel versions of you who actually took the chance. The version of you who started that project. The version who spoke the brutal truth. The version who didn't let fear dictate their reality. The great psychoanalyst Carl Jung once stated that the greatest burden a human can carry is the unlived life. And he was absolutely right. You see, every single day you choose to stay paralyzed in the safety of your mind, you are secretly attending a funeral. You are burying your own potential. And that chronic emptiness you feel, that heavy, suffocating weight in your chest that you call depression, it isn't depression, it is mourning. You are actively mourning the person you know you could be, but cowardly refuse to become. We lie to ourselves so beautifully. We say, I am just waiting for the perfect moment. I am waiting until I am fully prepared, until I have absolutely no doubts. Listen to me very carefully. The perfect moment is a myth. It is an imaginary waiting room designed by your anxiety to keep you quiet and obedient until you die. Have you ever watched someone else, someone far less talented, far less intelligent than you, achieve the exact success you have been dreaming about in secret? You watch them, and it burns, doesn't it? It burns your very soul, because deep down, you know their secret. Their secret isn't genius. Their secret is that they were simply willing to be a fool in public, while you insisted on remaining a hidden genius in private. They chose the dirt, the mistakes, and the blood of the arena. You chose the sterile, perfect safety of the stands. You convinced yourself that doing nothing makes you superior. It doesn't. It just makes you a ghost, haunting your own life. So, what happens now? What happens when this audio ends and you are left alone with the absolute silence and your own mind? The manifesto of the awake mind is brutally simple. Rule number 1, you will never, ever feel ready. The fear will never fully leave you. If you wait for courage to arrive before you act, you will die waiting. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is being absolutely terrified, shaking in your boots, and taking the step anyway. From this exact moment on, you must demote your mind. It is no longer your master. It is just a highly anxious, overprotective advisor. When it whispers that you will fail, when it asks you what the point is, you say, "Thank you for the warning, but we are doing it anyway." You must embrace the dirt of the arena. You must be willing to look foolish. You must be willing to stumble, to create terrible first drafts, to be rejected, to be seen trying by the very fools you secretly judge. Because the only thing worse than a public failure is a private, rotting potential. Today, we stared into the abyss. We named the demons. We diagnosed the sickness of our own hyperconsciousness. But knowing the exact shape of the trap is the very first step to escaping it. I created this space because I know exactly how heavy it is to carry a mind that is always at war with itself. You are not alone in this dark room. There is an entire army of us fighting the exact same invisible battle. Tell me in the comments, what is the one thing your dark mind has been convincing you not to do? Write it down. Expose it to the light. Let me know I am not the only one trapped in here. Until next time, try to survive your own mind. Goodbye.